This video is going to cover how each piece moves on a chessboard and how to set up the chessboard. The first piece we're going to go over is the pawn, your first line of defense here on the second rank. The pawn can move one square, and it attacks diagonally whatever is on that one square. But there's an exception to this. On its very first move, the pawn can move two squares, but after that, it can only move one square at a time. There are a couple other things you need to know about the pawn. Like what is en passant? So if my pawn is here, girly man cannot move two squares on his first move, because if he does, it's called en passant. If he moves here, he did not stop here to give my pawn a chance to take his puny little pawn. So I have a choice. I can either allow this pawn to stay here, or I can go ahead and take that pawn. Be sure to learn what en passant is, as it works great for you, and girly man a lot of times will use it when he's in a bad situation and hope you don't catch it. So be sure to watch en passant. One more thing about a pawn. Yes, it is the smallest piece on the board, but this piece has potential to promote, and when you promote it, it can become a queen, a buff bishop, a warhorse, or a rook. So say girly man messes up and moves here. Then you move here. He brings out his bishop. This is never going to happen, I'm just showing you. You take here. Now, if girly man is here, when you take the rook, you will see you have a choice between a queen, a warhorse, a rook, and a buff bishop. Most of the times you're going to pick queen, but when you learn about checkmates, you will also want to look for the times when you should pick a warhorse, because a lot of times if you place a warhorse here, depending on the game, and it protects and blocks certain squares and checks the king, it could be a checkmate. All things you want to study. Now, the next piece we're going to go over is the bishop, and our bishop is buff, and girly man's bishop is puny. So you move here, and girly man moves here. You want to bring your bishop out to a square, not necessarily this one, because now you are blocking in your queen. But you want to bring it out to a square where it has the farthest look on the diagonal. These are all the squares that the buff bishop protects and attacks. So find a good square for your buff bishop. The next piece we're going to cover is the warhorse. The warhorse moves in an L pattern. So when you bring your warhorse out here, now it is protecting and attacking this square, this square, this square, and this square. The warhorse is a powerful piece, but the bishop is stronger because it sees more squares and can attack, say, from this corner all the way to this corner when it has the opportunity. The next piece we'll cover is the rook. The rook only moves side to side and up and down. Now, a couple things you need to know about the rook. The rooks are best when they are said to be connected. You don't really want stuff in between the rooks because they're not protecting each other. There's also something called castling, which you must know too. Castling is when there are no pieces between the rook and the king, and after girly man moves, the king moves right two squares, and the rook comes to the opposite side. Now, with a couple of moves, here, 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 and here, after you move your queen, you can see that the rooks are connected now. You can also queenside castle. Queenside castle is when, girly man's turn. You move, a move, you move, a move, or horse out, skinny donkey, and you bring your beautiful queen here. And now you can castle to the queen side. But again, it is only two squares, and the rook comes to the opposite side. When you castle king side, you end up on the G file, second from the right. When you castle queen side, you do not end up on the B file. That is what you need to remember. The next piece we will go over is the queen. Now the queen can move side to side, up and down, and diagonally. So if you move your queen here, she could go here. Once he moves here, you can move here and she can move forward, and you want to protect your queen and not leave her hanging for girly man to take. Now there are going to be situations where you want to sacrifice the queen to win, and you will learn those down the road. Now the last piece is the king. We have a warrior king. Early man has a girly king. Oh, look how girly his king is. The king can move up and down, side to side, and diagonally. This king can move here. This king can move here. And once the bishop is out of the way, the king can also move forward and back. Now, one thing you need to know is the king can never move into check. So, if I move here, and girly man is here, and for some reason I move this pawn here, that would never happen. But this square you can see is protected by skinny donkey. So if girly man moves here, and I want to move here, I cannot. The computer will not allow it because that would put me in check. So be sure you know where the king can't move because he's in check. Because a lot of times you will be checked by another piece and think that you can move to this square, but you cannot. And that'll lead to a checkmate. Now how do you set up the board? The board has to be set up where the white square is in the corner, always. If the dark square is in the corner, the board will not be set up right, and the game will not work. Okay, your pawns always go on the second ring. Now, put your queen in the center of the board on her own color. White for white, dark for dark, and the queens will be directly across from each other. The king goes right next to the queen on the opposite color. If he's white, he'll be on the dark square. From there, it goes from tallest to shortest. Bishop is taller than the warhorse, is taller than the rook. So, now you know how to set up the board, and you know how each piece moves. Now get out there and terminate a girly man. You should follow, like, and leave me a comment. I'll be back.